going to be really important, and that is the topic of pointing the finger at other people when you should be redirecting it back on yourself, and how that is going to supercharge your life. So, when I mean point the finger at other people, this is what most people do. People say, I'm not happy because of this person. I'm not happy because this event happened to me. I'm not happy because I live in this town. And it's all just like basically saying like, I don't want to do any work to make my life better. It's this person. So you've sure heard the term scapegoat. And it's basically what it is you're scapegoating something else so that you can kind of like have an answer for why your life is messed up. And then what's even worse is not only do you then point the finger, but you then use that as an excuse why you don't, oh sorry, I was shaking the camera. You don't use that as an excuse why you don't have to improve and work hard to get better. So, you know, and believe me, I am just as guilty as anyone else, and at least I used to be, right? Until I started working on this stuff and pointing the finger and being like, this person did this thing bad. And it's like, you know what? You could sit there all day long for 100 years and just be like pointing the finger. And the bottom line is you're never going to get anywhere, and you're only going to just kind of be lazy and feel bad about yourself. So you need to be proactive in pointing the finger back on yourself and saying, I'm the creator of my own universe. Right? Everyone say that. I am the creator of my own universe. Another sentence that I'll use is, I am the superstar in my own movie, or I am the creator of my own movie. So what that means is that everything within your reality, within your world, is dictated by you. And of course you want to bring in the important people that are going to help build you up. You can't do everything yourself. That's a whole nother lesson, right? You need to bring people in, but ultimately you allow who you want in, and you create the life that you want to live. So too many people are in their head thinking that, they don't really have any control over their life. They've never really created that kind of ideal blueprint. Just like if you were going to make a movie, right? You wouldn't just sit down and just start filming stuff and have no idea, right? You would kind of chronologically lay out how you want everything to happen, and the character development and the dialogue and the different shots and where it's filmed. So you want to do the same thing with your life, but you have to realize that that's going to happen from you starting with yourself and changing yourself and creating that really good energy within yourself. So again, don't point the finger at other people, point it back at yourself. And that leads to also this idea of being proactive on a daily basis and kind of building this overall compound effect. So a really good book that I'm reading right now is called The Compound Effect. And essentially what it talks about in The Compound Effect is that a lot of these things, when you want to change, it's not like it's some monumental, like the seas part and this angel comes down and blesses you and then all of a sudden you're transformed and enlightened. It's like the opposite. It's like basically a bunch of little mundane tasks that you choose to do every day that eventually, right, will put you into this upward spiral and compound over time. So, and that's one of the reasons why for a lot of people it's so hard to make a change, because a lot of the things that you need to do in your daily life are going to be small little tasks. So you might not necessarily really get to see them until maybe 6 months down the road or a year down the road, or, in many cases, maybe even further than that. So it's like humans, unfortunately, we have this tendency to be like, well, if it's not right in front of us, then it's like, it's not real or it's not reality. And it's a terrible tendency. And it's kind of like, I guess y'all would call it like almost like an instinct. We're born that way, but then you have to create the habit. So we're all born with we're all born with instincts. We want to create habits. So it's all about creating those little habits that are going to be the upward spiral habits or the good habits, instead of degenerative, stupid habits that are going to ultimately break you down. Because most people are stuck in a bad habits and a downward spiral, and their life is on a downward trajectory. Most people. And even if your life is like on like a plateau trajectory, that's the same thing as a downward trajectory, because if you're on the plateau, eventually you're just going to get, like, an example would be like, if you're at the same weight now but you keep your same diet and same exercise, 10 years from now you'll weigh 10 pounds more than you did now, right? So it's like, no matter what, if you stay the same, that's really downhill. So you need to get in the upward spiral and realize that you have to be proactive, point the finger back on yourself, and realize that a lot of the things that you're doing now, you're planting the seeds for 6 months from now, a year from now, maybe even 5 years from now, or even down the road further. So that's something important. That's something important and to think about. So, once you understand that, you'll start being able to adjust a lot of the choices. And another thing that has helped me out a lot is just take a notebook, get a notebook, and write down your day-to-day things, and then write down the goals that you have for that day. Maybe write down the goals that you want to have for the next week, and then ultimately even for further down the road, and kind of chart out what your day-to-day would look like, and realize all the different hours within the day and what you're allocating time towards. So what a lot of people won't realize is that they're like, fuck, like I just like burned like 3 hours like on social media in the middle of the day. And it's like, well, if you don't have a lot of free time, it's like that's eating up that entire block. So then, by being able to realize that and then adjust it, one of the most common things that I'll hear people say when I'm like, well, why don't you do this or why don't you do that, is they'll be, oh, I don't have enough time. Like that's like the number one thing. And it's funny because it's completely false, because these people have never done an audit of their life, of their day-to-day. So they think they don't have any time, when in fact they probably easily have tons of time that they could free up, or at least find a little bit here and there by cutting down on certain things that they're already doing. Try not to hit the mic. Anyway, that's the lesson here. Be proactive, point the finger back on yourself, and realize that a lot of the compound effect is going to just be these little incremental changes on your day-to-day, week to week, month to month, that will ultimately lead you to the life that you want to live. Profound stuff. It's a nice day out, enjoying the weather. It's sunny, although it's a little cloudy, but it's going to keep on enjoying it. Maybe I'll film another video. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care, guys.